Before there was a nation, there was a covenant. And before any of it made sense, God called one man out of everything he knew and staked the fate of all humanity on his obedience. This is the complete history of Israel. Around 2000 BC, in the city of Ur, God spoke to a man named Abram. "Leave your country, your people, your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." No map, no guarantee, just a voice and a promise. And that promise was staggering. That from this one man would come a great nation, that through his seed, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. God sealed it in blood, in a covenant so serious that he alone walked through the pieces. Abram became Abraham. His son Isaac carried the promise. Isaac's son Jacob wrestled with God and walked away with a limp. And a new name, Israel, meaning one who strives with God. From Jacob came 12 sons, 12 tribes, the beginning of a nation. But before the nation could rise, it had to descend. Joseph, Jacob's beloved son, was sold into slavery by his own brothers and dragged to Egypt. Yet God's hand was in it. Joseph rose to become second only to Pharaoh, and when famine struck, he saved the very brothers who betrayed him. The family of Israel settled in Egypt, and for a season, they flourished. Then a new Pharaoh rose, one who did not remember Joseph, and he saw the growing population of Israel and feared them, so he enslaved them. For 400 years, God's chosen people built Egypt's empire in chains. But God heard their groaning. He called Moses from a burning bush, a murderer, a fugitive, a man with a stutter, and sent him back to Pharaoh with the most dangerous message in history: "Let my people go." Pharaoh refused. 10 times he refused, and 10 times God shook the most powerful empire on earth. Water turned to blood, darkness swallowed the land, and finally, death moved through Egypt and took the firstborn of every household that was not covered by the blood of a lamb. The Passover, a picture that would echo through all of Scripture. Israel walked out of Egypt free. Pharaoh's army chased them to the edge of the Red Sea, and God split it open. Israel walked through on dry ground. Egypt was swallowed by the returning waters. 400 years of slavery ended in a night.
Open. Israel walked through on dry ground. Egypt was swallowed by the returning waters. 400 years of slavery ended in a night. Freedom, however, is not the same as faithfulness. At Mount Sinai, God descended in fire and thunder and gave Israel the law, the 10 Commandments, the covenant terms of a holy God with his chosen people. He gave them the tabernacle, a portable dwelling place, a sign that he was with them. But Israel grumbled. They built a golden calf while Moses was still on the mountain. They doubted at the border of the promised land and turned back in fear. 40 years. 40 years wandering in a wilderness that should have taken 11 days to cross. An entire generation died without seeing the promise. God's patience is long, but he does not ignore unbelief.
Moses died on the mountain with the promised land in sight. Joshua took the mantle and led Israel across the Jordan River. The walls of Jericho fell, not by weapons, but by worship and obedience. The land was taken. The 12 tribes each received their inheritance. But Israel could not stay faithful. The book of Judges reads like a broken record. Israel abandons God, falls into oppression, cries out for rescue, and God raises a deliverer. Deborah, Gideon, Samson, over and over and over again. The cycle reveals a hard truth. Israel didn't just need a deliverer. They needed a king. They asked for one. God gave them Saul, tall, handsome, impressive by every human standard, and deeply flawed. Saul's disobedience cost him the throne. So God chose a shepherd boy from Bethlehem. David was a man after God's own heart. He united the tribes, established Jerusalem as the capital, and brought the Ark of the Covenant home. God made him a covenant that his throne would last forever, that from his line would come a king whose kingdom would never end.
David's son Solomon built the temple, the most magnificent structure Israel had ever seen. Gold, cedar, the glory of God filling the house. For one brief, shining moment, Israel looked like what God always intended, a nation of priests, a light to the world. But Solomon's heart drifted. His foreign wives pulled him toward foreign gods. The man who built a house for God eventually built altars for idols. When he died, the kingdom cracked. His son Rehoboam threatened heavier burdens on the people. 10 tribes revolted under Jeroboam and broke away, forming the northern kingdom of Israel. Only Judah and Benjamin remained loyal to the house of David, the southern kingdom of Judah. One nation, torn in two, by pride, by idolatry, by the slow drift of a heart that forgot who it belonged to. From Abraham to the divided kingdom, this is the story of a people chosen not because they were great, but because God is faithful. Every promise kept, every failure anticipated, every judgment, mercy in disguise.
And underneath it all, the shadow of a coming king, a greater Moses, a better David, a final lamb. The story isn't over. It was never just about Israel. It was always about him.